Hi there, welcome to today's Marketing Innovation Podcast show. Today we are here with Roland, our voice product specialist, and today we will discuss how to use Instagram to grow your brand or your business. It's no doubt Instagram is amongst the top 3 most popular platforms in the world at the moment, with users, businesses, personal brands and influencers all in the fight for attention, the latest popular hashtags and the perfect feed. Nevertheless, as a business, most of us can't help but wonder and try to figure out what the best way of using this platform in their favor is, while fighting the changing algorithms and stretching their patience to the extremes. So, if you are still pondering over the right and most effective way of using Instagram to grow your brand, we are here to give you a hand as well as some of the latest tips and tricks. Let's go straight to it.
Yeah, let's do it. So, me being the more technical guy in the conversation, I'll try to put the right questions so you can get an overview of the situation and get more insights in specific topics. I would start with the following question. Where should Instagram fit in the marketing plan?
A very good place to start. So Instagram should be part of your content strategy, really, as well as one of the everyday things that you should be doing as a maintenance for your business on social. So where should Instagram sit within your marketing plan? First of all, always remember, most times your potential customers or followers won't convert here. So try to direct them as much as possible to your website or your e-store, etc. You can always use Instagram as a platform for direct contact, where followers can get directly in touch with your brand, but just make sure that you move the conversation on the email if it gets to business. So, for example, you can use it as interacting and answering your questions directly. So, let's say if you are a brand and you get questions from your customers, you can just answer them on the chat. But if it's a business conversation, just make sure you move it on the email, because negotiating on Instagram can decrease your power as well as your authority. So just make sure that you keep it, only for social purposes.
And how should a brand think about their posting strategy? Like, how often should they post and how should they target their audience?
Perfect. So first of all, always keep in mind that followers want to see as much as possible real-time posts from you, and that's why one of the features that was very good for Instagram lately was the stories feature, where users and brands are posting as much as possible real-time content, or that's the expected thing. So it's acceptable to have a few planned posts out of, let's say, 7 posts per week. So if you post every day, then you can schedule some of these ones and they cannot be real time. But try to have 3 to 4 posts close to real time. And also make sure that you make full use of your stories to strengthen the relationship with your followers. So again, try to keep them as real time as possible to keep the customers engaged and your followers. So when they view your stories, you can sometimes include offers or things from the past, but in general, try to make this as a way to bring them into your business. Also, in order to increase discoverability of your account, use the location and the hashtags features within the stories, because this will bring in new viewers to your stories and then to your account. And these are people that are following or browsing for those specific hashtags or location elements. So, for example, people browsing for posts in London might be able to discover your post and then bounce on your profile, and then, it's just a good way of discovering your content.
Well, that seems quite a lot. How does one get inspired to post so much then?
Well, it's a good question, and you have to always keep in mind the fact that within a business, it's many things that happen. So, for example, one day you can have somebody in the company speak at a conference. The other day you might have an event. So you can always have bigger pieces of content. Let's say if you are making a video for YouTube or stuff for Facebook, and you can cut that content and repurpose it for Instagram. It's also a very good strategy for never running out of content, while also having stuff to post about in order to keep the community engaged. So let's say if you have a 10-minute video, you can always cut out of that video, let's say 3 or 4 or 5 things that are more important within the conversation in the video, and then post them on Instagram, and also create images on the behalf of events that you have been doing and combine these. So for example, you can put educational content as well as entertainment content, as well as a bit of selling content around your feed. So always keep in mind that the users that are following you on social are following you for three reasons. One of them, and one of the most popular ones, is to get entertained. The other one is to get informed. And the third one is to make purchases eventually. So you want to make sure that through your content strategy or posting strategy, you deliver for all these three demands or requirements from your public. So out of, again, let's say 7 posts, make sure that 1 or 2 or 3 of them are educative in a way, or they educate the customers around your brand, your values, etc. A couple of them are entertaining, so you showcase the slice of life type of posts or what you have been up to, but again, something entertainment related. And then 1 or 2 posts only per week, make them in such a way that is that you ask for a sale or you promote your products actively to the user, because otherwise they're gonna get disengaged.
This resembles the piece of content Gary Vee shared regarding his content strategy. Have you seen it? The one with micro content.
Yeah.
So following this, can you give an overall idea of what he was saying? I mean, in terms of deriving micro content from big content.
So I slightly touched on this a bit earlier on when I was saying, let's say if you have a video of shot at a conference or at an event, you can cut smaller pieces from this, as well as make print screens and etc. So or screen freezes. So you can repurpose these in terms of micro content, as in 1 minute long videos on Instagram, or pictures for Instagram, and let's say you can use those for LinkedIn as well if it's relevant, or Twitter or other platforms. So just make sure that you derive this type of content pieces from the bigger contents, and this way you'll have not only one post which is going to be 10 minutes long, but rather 5-7 posts that are 1 minute long, or they are images as well. And yeah, this is the way to multiply your content if you want, so you never run out of material. Does this answer the question?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. And what's the best time to post then?
That's a big debate. So I would probably say there's 2 best times to post. One of them is very early in the morning, so probably around, let's say, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. And the other one is late afternoon. My favorite is around 8 o'clock, so even evening. And the reason for this is, when you think about your customers' behavior online as well, you have to think about when they are most likely to be active. And generally people tend to be active when they are commuting to work or when they are waking up, so checking their phones, etc., as well as at night when they finish work, or they are home and they are preparing to relax. So what you'll find is that during these times, if you post and you put in the right hashtags, etc., you tend to be much better discovered and and have a higher engagement.
And regarding the hashtag you just mentioned, what's the deal with them? How do you think the hashtags are impacting discoverability?
Yeah, it's actually one of the most important things, and it's also the biggest debate. It's always a discussion around it, like what hashtags should you use, etc., etc. So what I would say is, when thinking about hashtags, the most important thing to consider is the business you're in. So important aspects would be: do you need a local audience, or do you have a local audience? What type of personality does your audience generally have? So you decide on the language that you want to communicate, and then what they might be interested in. What are the hashtags your ideal customers are searching for? And then try to think about these things and include the relevant ones out of the results within your post. So a trick here would be to not only include the hashtags with a giant number of hits, let's say, but also the more niche but very relevant to your business ones. So this might not have millions of hits, but you have much higher chances to rank in the first results when people are looking for these hashtags. Therefore, the discoverability grows in exactly the niche you're interested in. And now a couple of examples, let's say, would be rather than putting in the hashtag business. It would be better to maybe put something like tourism business, or depending on the niche, but adding the niche and then business as well to your hashtag. Or regarding the personality of your audience, try to think about what they would be looking for. So would they be looking to find technology news, let's say, if you are a technology business, and then you can use that hashtag to rank there and to be discovered there? Or would they most likely be looking to find cute dogs or whatever? But then again, that might not be one of the hashtags that you'd like to use because it's not relevant to you. So always make sure that you use that you go into the mind of your customer and try to think about things that they would be looking for, and then try to use the ones that are relevant to you and include them in your hashtags, even though those hashtags might only have a couple thousand hits, let's say, 10k or 20k hits rather than millions, because that will rank you and that's gonna get you in front of the right audience.
Yeah, hashtag seems the big product of Instagram. So talking about products, they recently launched the new video component of the platform called IGTV. Do you have any opinions on them? Of this, does it represent an opportunity for brands? What do you think?
Yeah, it certainly does, and actually there were a lot of adopters of Instagram TV even when it launched. So many brands, many personal brands. Even today, we can see a lot of personal brands jumping on it and putting out content, repurposing content. So this is the new feature. It was released this year, and it's kind of an attack towards YouTube as well, because it gives Instagram users the opportunity to post long-length content on the platform, as opposed to the way it was before, when the video content was limited to 1 minute. So as a brand, this can be a good opportunity of showcasing even more of your culture products, as we were discussing through the stories. But however, when thinking about the necessity of using this feature, your decision will again be based on the insights from the nature of your business and the type of audience you want to reach. Because if the type of audience that you have doesn't engage with the Instagram TV content, then it's not going to be relevant for you, and therefore it's not going to be necessary, or it's not going to be bringing results. So it's no plus in you allocating resources for producing that content. But again, posting on Instagram TV can be a rough task if you are not used to producing video content or have very interesting things to showcase. So don't just post there because it's cool. Try to also offer value for the time that your audience invests in viewing your content. So our advice here would be try to offer value, or don't post at all. Again, if you have video content or a video content production strategy in place, there are certain tricks you can take into consideration when you film, let's say, a YouTube or a Facebook content video, and be able to repurpose it for Instagram TV. Because the format differs, one is landscape, one is portrait. Some of the things, maybe the most important consideration would be when you film the content to be able to repurpose it, so not having to film two pieces for the same thing. So the most important bit here would be to make sure that the focus point and the relevant content pieces are right in the middle of the frame. And if the frame is cut to make it portrait as it is for Instagram TV, the viewer can still see the important bits that the focus is on. So talk to your videographer regarding this aspect too, and he'll be the best to give you advice specific on each planned filming scenario.
So when it comes to a brand that wants to post in both ways, on the Instagram feed and also on IGTV, what considerations should be there?
In terms of the content, basically you have to think about the attention span as well as the willingness to watch till the end. So I would say for the smaller video that is posted on the feed, the brand has to be sure that the video is catchy and it captures attention, but also has to be sure that it's straight to the point, because the user is not going to be watching that for a longer period of time, because most probably they discover the content while scrolling through the feed, and when they scroll through the feed, the attention span is quite small. When they post on Instagram TV is sort of a different side of the platform. So there they can post more content that is maybe not that edited as the feed content would be in terms of cuts and so on. And they can think about stuff from educational content to posting full videos, like tutorials and things like this. I've seen a lot of videos lately from personal brands, posting tutorials, like long length tutorials for their niche. So if you are a brand and you can educate, or you can offer, let's say if you are a food brand and you can offer recipes or stuff like that, then Instagram TV can be a good platform to do exactly that. And you can also repurpose, as I said, content from YouTube to Instagram TV. Those would be probably the most important consideration I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I've also observed that influencer marketing is a big part of social media, and especially Instagram. Can you talk more about how brands could use it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, mainly for Instagram, influencers are, a big side, and everybody tries to focus on them more these days. But one of the very important things that I would say is that numbers don't mean the world. So if you are a brand and you want to collaborate with influencers, don't just look at the numbers. They still count, and that's especially true when dealing with or wanting to become influencers. So if you're not a brand but rather an aspiring influencer, then the numbers will make a difference for you. But at the same time, because influencer marketing has picked up massively in the past year due to the more personal touch it brings to advertising, giving it a more peer-to-peer feeling, whilst switching the communication from the brand to a trusted or admired person. Many accounts started to focus only on growing their numbers without actually focusing on what matters, which is the engagement with the community. So to give you a few tips on how to best choose influencers for collaborations, if you're a brand wanting to use influencers, there's two metrics that you have to take into consideration when choosing the promotion partner. So one of them would be the number of followers versus the number of engagements per post. So what we mean by this is, if an influencer has, let's say, 100,000 followers, how many people are engaging with one of their posts? Is it, 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000? Because the more the engagement rate is going to be, then it means that the more effective your collaboration with that specific influencer will be. So always keep in mind to look not only at the numbers, but also at how many people interact with pictures they post, etc. And what's the general engagement with the pictures? Is it something positive, negative, or is just people liking it? Do they also comment, etc.? Because like this, you will be able to, and also about the influencer, do they post a lot of stories and stuff like that, because that will give you a better idea of how you can structure your deal or partnership with them and your offer as well as a brand. And then the other thing that you have to think about is whether you want to choose influencers or you want to go more niche and collaborate with micro-influencers, which are the influencers that have, let's say, up to 15K followers on Instagram or around that mark. Or actually you can go up to, let's say, 50K. Everything that is below that is called micro-influencers, and then they will have obviously different prices of collaborations and different perks. But these are perceived to have a more engaged community, and therefore your sponsored content or posts could have a bigger impact on their audience, growing the chances of conversion for you. So it's also less pricey to collaborate with micro-influencers rather than a major influencers with a lot of followers or an Instagram celebrity. And the prices tend to increase very much with the number of followers, but also go back to the first metric, which is engagement versus number of followers. So when you design your packages, ensure you consider not only sponsored feed posts, but also stories, because as we were discussing, these add very much to the real life element of Instagram and social media, and it can be great opportunities for a brand to reach the influencer's engaged audience, because Instagram stories capture the people that are following that account or that brand or that person, and are constantly engaged with their content and always view their stories, and therefore advertising to these people can be better for driving conversion or if you advertise something like the posts with swipe up to see more, etc., then those will be the people that are gonna most likely convert or visit your website. So when you design your packages, also keep in mind that you can have a collaboration over a longer period of time. So, for example, one sponsored post per week for 4 weeks, and then a couple of sponsored posts on stories for a certain number of days per week, etc., etc. So, if the engagement rate proves to be higher for 5 micro-influencers, let's say, that are very relevant to your niche rather than a very major influencer that is maybe not that specific but has a lot more followers, it might be a good idea to invest in tapping into the micro influencer communities first at once, rather than using your budget for only a one-off promotion with a major influencer. So this can be highly effective because, again, the conversion rate for that exposure can be higher, and I would strongly suggest this mainly if you are a smaller brand. And as a final note, just keep in mind that there are nowadays many bots increasing the number of followers for some of the wannabe influencer accounts. So as we were discussing, always keep in mind to look at the post engagement rate and not only the number of followers.
Yeah, definitely. I can see a lot of brands going this path. It seems very valuable, and I think a lot of people can extract good value out of it.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. I mean, this would be the main considerations. And again, in terms of Instagram, because it's one of those platforms that if a brand never focused very much on social media, they would be looking at Instagram, and there's a lot of questions around it many times, even when we meet with clients and so on. So I think that for our listeners here, if you have a brand or a personal brand and you want to go into Instagram more hardcore, then this would be like the basic tips. Again, if you want to advertise on Instagram, apart from the traditional Instagram advertisement that you can do through the Facebook Ad Manager, you can go into the influencer bit as well. It's really good. It's really picking up these days. Just make sure that you have good packages and you explore all the opportunities to promote, and then make sure that you choose the influencers right. And again, if you need any help with this anytime, just write us and we'll be happy to help. We work with a lot of companies at the moment in terms of, optimizing their Instagram strategy, Instagram marketing. So we'll be happy to help you. Again, just don't worry about, everything is free for the initial consultation. So just drop us a message at hello@marketiu.com, and we'll be happy to, explore and see how we can help. But until next time, hope this helped. Roland, thank you very much for joining us today and for the amazing value as well. And looking forward to our next episode. Guys, have a nice one and keep up the good work.